for YouTube. Are we all warm and ready?
All warm and ready.
Be short, son. I'm okay.
Lovely.
Are you moist? Are you moist, Craig? Are you moist?
I am actually
All right, just
wet
checking.
patch on this chair.
Wow, that shouldn't happen to a male. You've just shit yourself, haven't you?
No, it's the lube dripping out.
Oh, is it seepage?
Oh my God!
I've lost some.
You've lost.
So was Craig.
I wonder if that microphone had gone. I was feeling really comfy as well.
Oh my God!
I've lost one of my props.
Oh, it's over here with me.
Oh well.
Cox.
I can
Crocs
use
are props.
prop cocks. I can do that next time. It's fine. It'll wait.
Was it for the YouTubes?
It was for audios and YouTubes.
All right.
Oh wow!
It's fine. It's something to look forward to it next time for everyone. There you go. Right, let's do this. Okay. Hello, and a very warm welcome to the Doctor Who and Music podcast, Progtor Who. I'm your flabby, unfit gym instructor. Do as I say, not as I do. That lard and pork scratching pie was delicious. I am Bob. And joining me at the Progtor Who gymnasium for this workout, his speciality gymnastics maneuver is unique to his physical attributes. It is the love pump push-up. Look, no hands. I'll let you work it out. It's Craig.
Hey, thank you very much, Bob. Pass us some pie.
Delicious pie, that isn't it? Lard and pork scratching.
It just sounds disgusting.
Beautiful. Right, here we go. At the bottom of a sweaty old gym bag, you will find him licking the bacon dust out of a bag of frazzles, crying. It's Suky.
Okay, I'll take it because I don't care.
It's just easier to take it. So
There we go. Panting like Brian Ferry's hamster after a lengthy and aggressive run round its golden lacquered wooden hamster wheel. It's John.
Oh, I was hoping that was me. That was a good one.
Fuck.
There you go, John. Hello, John. You all right? You all right?
Yeah, man. Thank you for that.
No problem.
You can see the flash all over John.
Yeah, loving it.
He'll
pay for it. He'll pay for it eventually.
This will be over soon. Don't worry. His ginger fat balls are the heaviest element known to modern science.
It's me.
He is the dumbbell. It's Cliff.
Yes.
Hey.
I think you're the only one that's happy with them introductions.
I'm so happy.
Amazing. And on this podcast, we'll be reviewing the Tom Baker story Warriors Gate, giving our marks out, whatever, reading out your feedback, finding out what we'll be reviewing next time, and playing some random songs along the way. So let's pump this hard lever, let out some hot steam, and dematerialize into this. I lost the power of speech then for a second.
Did you have a stroke?
I think so. I can smell burnt toast. What's it like, Suki?
Tastes of metal, doesn't it, mate? Yeah.
I'm going to end up swearing at you. I can tell right now.
Yeah.
That's what I aim for.
Don't do it, Suki.
That's what I aim for. Right, so first thoughts, and then we'll have a song. Let's get my dice tray. There we go. Okay. Warriors Gate is what we have watched, and I don't actually know what anyone thinks of it. It's one I've never really spoke about with any of you before. I'll kick on. It's one to get some first thoughts. It's one I remember, but for visual reasons. And I've always really, really liked season 18. Because it was very different from any Doctor Who I'd ever seen before. And it took itself quite seriously. And it was all a bit mental and weird and confusing. And I really like that in Doctor Who. So coming back to watch it again, I read the Target novel first, which is by John Lydecker, which is Stephen Gallagher, the guy that wrote this, but he changed his name. Gallagher, because he's from Salford, isn't he? And it was cool. Then I watched it. I watched it twice. And then watched all the bonus stuff on the Blu-ray, and it's great. I really, really, really enjoy this. It's bonkers and all them things, but it's probably the most different Doctor Who of the classic series. I'd go as far to say, half of it anyway, visually, and it's just cool. So it's a confused thumbs up from me. Cliff, I'll come to you. What's your first vibe or thoughts upon this?
Well, when it came up on the randomizer, which I made,
You did.
I was
fucking
thinking,
spreadsheet. Come on.
it's got a button. All right. And when it first came up, I was like, oh, why do I remember this from day back? And I remember first watching it when I was in college. So I was like 16, 17. So it's a lot later, and it was on my mate's VHS. And I remember distinctly because we was doing mushrooms, because it was going through a mushroom time. And I enjoyed it then visually. But now I've had time to watch it again. I absolutely loved it. I like it. People complain that it's slow paced and dull. I didn't find that. I just thought it was intriguing, and it was different than anything I've seen before in Doctor Who, especially for that time. Especially the camera work, the direction of it, the music. I loved it.
Yeah, cool. Well, that's a double positive.
Don't worry about that. It's only button mushrooms.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
Was it mushroom stroganoff and mushroom curry? I was going through my head actually what mushrooms he was doing.
I'm immediately going to imagining taking magic mushrooms and watching this. It'd be absolutely brilliant. Suki, let's have you next.
Right. My history with this is I read the book, and the book is very long.
I'm going to go for a kip. Hold on.
Oh, shut up. Right, and it's very long. It was an interesting read, but I can't remember too much about it.
Oh, sorry, Suki. I just started watching the football while you were talking. Apologies. What were you saying?
I'm not sure. It's completely gone out of my head.
All right.
What match you watching?
I don't know. I just found a clip of Match of the Day to play through my phone. Do an impression of what you do.
I'm going to end up swearing at you. I'm going to swear so badly by the end of this episode.
Sorry, Suki. What were you saying? Let's get your first vibes. I'm finished now. I've got it on my system.
You want to start again? You're going to edit all that out?
Yeah, I'm just done. Well, that's the point of it. It's just...
Oh, man.
So,
right. Okay. No, go back. Let's go back. So I had the Target book, and it was an interesting read, but I can't remember too much about it. And then the VHS sort of came out, and because I'd read a lot of reference books on this, and it's a confusing story, and a lot of things didn't happen properly, and all this stuff. So I never really concentrated too much on the VHS. The DVD came out, and I've never opened it. It's still there in my E-Space trilogy. As the book falls off the shelf, so I never watched it. But when it came to watching it came to this podcast, this recording of this, I thought, okay, I better give it a good one. And I really did enjoy the story, and I don't understand what the fan perception of this story is so low. Is it because it's so confusing?
It's very tied. It's very split. Yeah. That's one thing I noticed. I shared our post for wanting feedback on a few Doctor Who pages on Facebook, and got a lot of comments, to be fair. And fandom was very divided, and there's no happy medium. There was no like it's all right or it's good. It was either fucking brilliant or it's shit, terrible, confusing.
This is what I'm trying to say. It's because I think the storyline is excellent. But the production problems sort of hinders it. But other than that, I think this is a great story.
That's some big positives. Craig,
I just looked online. I was 9 years old when this was shown, and a bit like you, Bob, I was loving this season of Doctor Who. I mean, I loved State of Decay, and then you had Full Circle. So I was absolutely in my element with this season. And along comes Warrior's Gate, and my only real recollection of it for the first time was I didn't understand it. And it was a bit confusing, the black and white scenes. And it all seemed a bit, I know it sounds silly because I know now it wasn't, but it all seemed a bit cheap. Because in my head, I just saw lots of white screens and it was therefore cheap. So that was my initial reaction as a kid. That's all I remember about it. But then obviously the East Space trilogies all came out and I got them that way around. And I think pretty much same as everyone else. I love this story. Right. I think really, really good. I think there's a lot. It seems to me, like you said, Bob, almost like it's really out there for classic season. And it's almost a bit ghost-like, but not a sophisticated. there's a lot to it. There's a lot of issues that run through it, whether it's to do with physics or to do with slavery and things like that. And I love the fact that you can really, I don't think I understand it fully, but there's a lot of stuff in there that I love.
There's a lot of multi-levels to it.
There is. And I think the special effects are cracking, actually. And it certainly is not cheap. I get that now as an adult. So yeah, it's positive from me all the way around for this story.
Oh, great. Well, this is not split Doctor Who fandom. That's for sure. This is very positive. John, are you going to continue with this positivity or?
No, absolutely not. I thought it was weird. It was kind of confusing, which I shall put down to the writing. And not having much experience of Romana, I am underwhelmed by her exit. I didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Some of it was just downright ludicrous. And I felt like it felt disjointed to me. And I don't know whether that was because I was watching it, but I couldn't get into it at all.
Right, okay.
I only watched it the once because I just thought, fuck it, I'm not watching that again.
No, that's fair enough. No, that's good. I'm pleased that we're not all gushing over it anyway. And there's plenty to go at in this. But before we do that, it's time for our first song. So I'm going to pick up this D20 and we're going to roll the dice. And it's probably going to be a low score after this. This got its first run out the other night, and it is 11. We're rounding down, and it's Sheps' choice with Portishead, All Mine.
Yes, it's all mine.
There we go.
Good choice.
Yeah, bit different. Have you got your fact file, Craig?
I have. Spent
Lovely.
ages putting this together. 3 minutes on the dump earlier on.
That was the YouTubers. Just a reminder there. Okay, so there we go. And that was Portishead with All Mine, Sheps' choice. You're listening to Progtor Who, and we're reviewing the Tom Baker adventure, Warrior's Gate. We've got a fairly positive vibe going on with most of us. But before we get in deep with this review, I'm going to come over to Craig, please, for the fact file.
Okay, a few facts for you. It's the 5th series of 18th season, written by Stephen Gallagher, which obviously Bob mentioned before, shown from the 1st to 24th of January 1981, with Tom Baker, Lalla Ward, Matthew Waterhouse, still relatively new in it, and obviously John Leeson as K9, and it's his departing and Lalla Ward's departing story. It was directed by Paul Joyce and Graham Harper, but uncredited. Script editor Chris Bidmead, and John Nathan Turner as his producer, Barry Letts as executive producer. Just while we're talking about those two, both of them later on really expressed concerns that they didn't really understand the story, or that they thought it was a bit complicated, but it was way too down production line at that point.
Yes.
It was preceded by State of Decay, I mentioned, and followed by Keep of Track, and very much coming towards the end of Tom Baker's season here. The final one of the East Base trilogy. Viewing figures are pretty robust, actually. 7.1, 6.7, a rise up to 8.3, and then back down to 7.8 on this. So really doing well at the time. And obviously, boys, what I know you're all waiting for now is where it comes in the big poll. So just to remind John, it's out of 241.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just like to remind you every week because I actually don't ever remember, and I have to remember to do it in case you forget, but knowing that you actually do have a memory, unlike me. So where's it going to come, boys? So I'm going to go to Captain Ravic's book first, actually.
Oh, right, you saw it then.
I just saw it then. Okay, Suky, tell us, Suky.
Now the thing is, right, before I started reviewing it, I'd already got it in my head that it was going to be quite a low rated story. So I'm going to say 170, but I do know exactly where it finished because it's in the production notes on the Blu-ray booklet. Right. So I'm going to give you my initial one, which was 170.
170. Yeah.
But I know exactly where it was.
Okay. Let's go to Cliff.
I think because the fans are split on it, I'm going to go roughly halfway. So say 132.
132 for Cliff. Bob?
I'm going to go 142.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, come on. Okay, you're all sticking around that midway
Keep
point
it
now.
close.
This will be interesting because John obviously don't like the story. So will he go lower? John, just remind you, John, it's out of 241.
Right. That's why whoever said they were going to do halfway, that's like, what number did you say, Sheps?
It was
132.
That'd be That would be 264.
and I'm like one of the senior analysts with Vodafone.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm gonna go with 120 halfway.
120. Okay.
close,
One of
isn't it?
you is only 5 places out. So it's either I'm going to get rid of Captain Rovics, but not that I necessarily want to, and Bob, and stay with John or Cliff.
Oh,
John, well done. 115 it came.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
wow.
see, I should have calculated it properly.
What
Yeah.
do I win?
Yeah, it was. It was literally halfway pretty much. So yeah, 115 out
It
of.
literally wasn't.
Well, no,
Damn it.
not literally, not literally, but it was almost.
John, look at us testing John with intelligence.
Never having a good time with you. Lot.
Yeah, like Captain Robics. I'm getting things done. That was right. Cool. Well, thank you for that, Craig. That was very good. It's Christopher Hitch bid me, by the way, everyone.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to come to you, Cliff, first, because I think you've got some stuff to say.
Yeah. Like I says, because of the first time I watched it, I probably was on sharing the type of nowhere place of which it's based. Watching it, I can sort of see it from John's angle as well. And I had a discussion with a friend at work about this as well, and he hates it because I really think if they would have maybe stuck to the script, maybe even had it a 6-parter than a 4-parter, I think you would have got more of the story what Stephen was trying to push through. I did really enjoy it this time round, just simply because I sort of either I've got older, or because we've done the David Lynch stuff. By the way, we're part of the Lynch mob, and and I'm used to things being a bit more slower paced. That's why I enjoyed it. I'm not really sure, but it was different than any other Doctor Who at the time, and I can see that like some of the scopes of what he used in it has definitely been picked up now. Some of the brilliant long shots by Paul. I think he really was trying his hardest to get everything on the screen of which Stephen had written about. I think there was problems with the editing. I didn't like the Romana bit at the end. I don't think any true fan really likes her just walking off. She seems a bit petty. It's just like, oh, I'm going now. Piss off. And yeah, I mean, and then he goes, oh, here's K9, see you, love. That bit to me, like I said, if it was 6-part, they could have spread that over a 2-episode bit and see why she came to that decision to go as well. But all in all, I liked watching it. I really enjoyed watching it.
I think with just when you touch on the direction there, because basically, Paul Joyce got fired, but he got fired because he wasn't BBC, which I quite like. He was trying to do something better.
He was trying to do something different at the time because at the time you had a huge amount of influx from different countries. You know, we're going into late 70s, early 80s. There's a big different amount of TV programs coming through. I think he wanted to move with the times. I think BBC, some of the old farts just didn't want to.
Well, even down to the massive cameras that they used to use, massive Daleks, he had to get one in, which was kind of a handheld one, and he got the up shots, the moving shots, to trying to get double layers. But what the problem was and this is really bad because Graham Harper, came in to direct it after Paul Joyce was fired for a little while. But Graham Harper, you can tell he did a lot of the shots in parts 3 and 4. And you can tell because all that sort of up moving camera, quite different sort of shots disappear, and it goes back to bog standard sort of.
I liked the things I loved about it was I loved the sets. I know it's only a small amount there. It wasn't out on field anywhere, which is great. I loved the use of his green screen at that point of time. I know it wasn't as good as what you get now. The modeling of it was really good to see. And the idea of what they was trying to do, I really think, especially after watching June with you lads as well on the Lynch mob, you could sort of see there was that he was trying to grab hold of something, Paul, and I could see his vision. And it's a real shame that it didn't bring him back for more.
I agree, but he wasn't BBC material, and I quite like that. Yeah. Cool, Suky, you look like you're gonna say something.
Yeah, the Paul Joyce thing. Paul, he come in and he had his visual ideas. He wanted to do a particular way of doing it. And as Cliff says, the old fart, the BBC didn't want to do it as such. Right, so there was a lot of conflict there. Also, the scripts that Stephen Gallagher actually put in were quite long anyway, and then needed to be fitted into a 4-part story. So there was a lot of cutting, and Stephen Gallagher wasn't available. So Paul Joyce and Christopher H. Bidmead got together and just did their own draft of it, keeping a lot of elements of Gallagher's work and then putting in some more of their own stuff to be able to get it into a working script that they could film.
It was more of a novel, wasn't it, what Gallagher put in? It was so thorough in the detail. When you see images of it, it's almost like it is like a novel. You can just read through it. It's so precise in what it wants.
Well, you got the Target novel that he released, 40-odd years ago.
Is that more comprehensible? Because I've never thought about reading the novel of it.
But yeah, it was released in 1982. But you've also got released in the last 3 years. He's done an audio book, which Stephen Gallagher has gone back to his first draft, redid it all, and put it out. So you've got a different draft, a different audio book of the Target novel.
How does that compare, Suki?
I've just read the Target. I read the Target book first, and he's under John Lidecker. It's a weird Target book. It has no chapter numbers, which is weird, and it is quite good. But there's no description of character. You know, like normally in a novel, you get a slight description of characters and descriptions of stuff. There's no descriptions of any one.
What is it? Just all dialogue?
That is a writing style. It's very. If you have read any Isaac Asimov or things like that,
right?
They're like that. It's a 50s, 60s trope of writing sci-fi, where they just kind of do very little in the way of descriptive stuff, and it's all about the actual intellectual discourse.
Leave it up to the reader's imagination as to who the characters look like.
Yeah.
It was good, and obviously I'd seen it, so I could do the descriptions in my head, but I did quite enjoy it because it was a bit different. Did you read it, Suki? Sorry.
I've read it. I was reading it, but then I'd also got the audio book, the extended version, based on the first draft. So
did that cost, Suki?
The cost about $13.99 off Amazon.
$13.99.
But I got it part of the Audible for free. So,
did you?
Yes, right. So, so it was on there. So, what's that? Go on, Cliff.
I was going to say, you know, like he says that the script editors Christopher and Bidmead came in and rewritten part of it. Yeah. I don't think they fully understand what Stephen had written for them to break it down into the 4 chunks. I think if Stephen was available to do it himself, he might have been able to cut it down to a bit more cohesive way for people to watch it.
I thought it was a really clever idea of the kind of, they were going more scientific, weren't they? That's what Chris Bidmead wanted to do, make it more serious. And the whole idea of time and space kind of collapsing in on each other. And even though it's stated explicitly, but it's so obvious when you watch it, the way suddenly journeys take shorter or and things become lighter or heavier. I loved all that. I thought it was really clever. So even though Chris Bidmead came in and added that touch, I still think it holds the scientific principle that he was getting through. In fact, it was the first time you had that really kind of strong story outcome. Yeah, exactly, coming through. And he does it really well. I mean, that's what confuses people so much, to come in and take what was clearly a complex story by Gallagher anyway, and keep that level of sci-fi going through it for kids.
I don't think it was written really in the kids in mind.
No,
you could relate it more with Stephen Moffat stuff in a later way.
The teddy bear was cute though.
Yeah, but the thing, Gallagher's script, when this was submitted to BBC, wasn't for Doctor. It was a story called Dreamtime. It had no Doctor, TARDIS, K9, anything like that in there, right? And when it landed on Bidmead's desk, he's the one that optioned it and says, "Look, incorporate the whole all of Doctor Who into it." And then going back to what Cliff says about Romana's leaving scene, that's like a last minute addition, right? Because I think she wanted to leave it a bit earlier, but they weren't sure when she was going to leave it. And it was sort of like, it was done quite late on in the old scripting process.
She was really disappointed, wasn't she? Because they promised her a really good leave, and obviously they didn't. I mean, I remember as a kid, I think you can see K9's departure coming. I think that's carefully woven throughout the story, that he's only actually going to survive behind the glass, behind the mirror, because he's been affected by the time winds. But you get no explanation.
No,
really.
There's a little bit of romance when they're talking about going back to Gallifrey. If they go back, and she does say, I'm not going back, and it is a little bit so. It's not obvious.
And part 1, she does that whole kind of thing to add. What if we went our separate ways? Doesn't she?
She does, but it's not.
But it kind of just it's the end bit is so sudden. There's no dialogue about it. It's like you said. It's that kind of. Oh, Cliff said, "I'm going now."
There's no
No,
emotion of it.
But then there rarely is in the early Doctor's departures, apart from maybe let's say Joe Grant. I think there is a little bit there, but there's not a lot.
No, not in the old.
Romana's leaving has been sort of foreshadowed all the way from full circle when she was summoned back.
Yeah.
Just before they went into E-space.
Yeah.
So it's been there for a while that she was going to leave. It's a bit silly that Lala Ward's last few scenes is just an abrupt goodbye.
And it doesn't even work, does it? Just walking. I mean, I never really got the white as a kid. I never got the white places, the photo stills, and it just seems so artificial to me that she's just there in that kind of imposed background. There's no reality. It's too detached. It's cold and emotionless for me.
And which I think to a degree does suit Tom Baker and Lala Ward's portrayal of the characters, really. And you do get a tiny bit of emotion from Tom, when he's talking to Adric at the end. But I think on reflection, it does kind of suit their characters. And I think Lala Ward was fuming about it at the time, but on reflection, she was saying that it's actually quite a good ending just to go, bye. I'm doing this and it's, whatever. But I know what you mean, because I think we're used to now this whole drawn out process of a companion leaving and we don't get it.
Yeah, but we get told, don't we, that they're going to be leaving on X day. So there's always a build up. Whereas this, I don't know if when she was sort of given, this is it, this is going to be your last story, right? Or when she made the decision. And then it was just sort of an abrupt sort of ending for it, which is, I think, still wrong for a long-standing, because the character of Romana has been in there for nearly 2.5, 3 years.
Yeah.
Right,
carries
on.
Yeah.
Right, so it has been. She's been there a while, but just to have her leave like that,
and they need to bring her back.
She was obviously rumoured to be the president of Gallifrey, wasn't she? Was kind of, but I think that was the thing in the old days. They did literally just go. There was no pre-warning, so you never knew how long a companion was going to be there. So there was always that risk, especially after Adric died. There was always a risk that a companion could die or go out of it in that story. So you kind of made the most. And whereas now, like Suki said, the ending is well and truly well known in advance that someone goes out of it, and there's always, it's always kind of pre-told by a worry of death.
No, absolutely. John, I've got to come to you. You're the one that was, you were brand new to this. Have you ever seen any of this season of Tom Baker before? To your knowledge,
what's the next one?
Keeper of Traken.
Keeper of Traken. That's the only one I've seen, I think.
And have you seen? You've seen Logopolis, haven't you, as well?
Possibly.
Where he regenerates.
Final Tom Baker story.
It's just it's quite a big change in tone from the previous seasons. That's all.
Well, I did think that. And all this talk of the Doctor checking out, he looked like dead behind the eyes for a lot of it. When he was, you could see when he was acting. He's sort of there, and then he just turned on the acting and do the acting, and it was like he was posting it in. Go on, Suki. I've already started talking. Go on.
Yeah, no. I'm just I just want to say that this is the story while this was in production when Tom Baker announced that he was going to leave anyway. Right, which does, when Lala Ward is on-off lover, girlfriend at the time, right? She was gooing, and then at the same time, he decided he was going to leave.
He was well doing better, wasn't she? I mean, he was punching above his weight with it, without any doubt at all. I'm not saying Tom Baker's ugly, but Lala Ward is a pretty woman, isn't she? To me, she not? No, I'm getting a few no faces. To me, I'm just thinking that he is a very lucky man.
Yeah, but he's also Doctor Who, a famous actor. And he's got the gift of the gab, and I think she's into that. And she strikes me as being into that intellectual kind of thing. So I can kind of see it, and it lasted a year, and that's about right and fine. And I'm sure Tom had a lovely time.
Anyway, John,
like rabbit.
John, it's back to you.
Yeah. On each episode, I write a bunch of notes, stuff like time wind, what the hell is it? And but each one of the episodes that I make notes on, it's got at least something that says I don't know what's going on, which is like episode 1, all that E-space stuff doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Episode 2, still really not sure what's going on. Episode 3 is Lionel wearing a cummerbund.
Lionel.
And episode 4 just doesn't make any sense. It says stuff is happening. I'm browsing my phone.
Yeah, well, I think that's probably you're definitely not alone there with Doctor Who fandom, John. That's for sure. I mean, I've seen it. I have watched it twice. I have read the Target novel, and I have watched all of the bonus things and all that, which has definitely helped. But I wouldn't say I'm 100% on it. But the themes that I take out of it are slavery and the fact that the enslavers on both sides. You're not saying you have sympathy with him, but you don't think the most horrible things in the world. Particularly the crew. What I do love about the crew is that it's the kind of, it's not Star Trek. It's not everyone being polished and shiny. They've all been out there fucking pissed off. They've been out there. You can tell they're pissed off. They're playing it really well. No one can be asked to do anything because they've been out there for so long. It's like I say, it's not being done shiny like a Star Trek. And I'm so glad to be in space. They're they're done in.
Yeah, they're bored. They're just going through the motions, and they're just on a ship it's just run down and dark, dank, falling to bits. You can understand what the sort of attitude they've got.
I like those two comedy guys in it. Aldo and
Royce.
That really made it.
I recognised one of them. What has he been?
Freddie Earle. He used to be a stooge for Laura and Hardy back in during the last few days when they were around in Britain.
Not that I remember him from.
Yeah, because all the way through, the crew just their kind of apathy just shows through, and almost the way they're just almost taking the piss out the captain. They're just making laughs, but not particularly funny laughs out of everything. Like even like the first episode when he's got the hole in the crate, he's got and I've just stepped through it. It's like it's really they're showing how bored they are in many ways.
There's a complete lack of respect for the chain of command, which is what makes Rovick's character quite funny when he gets something done at the end and he doesn't care what it is in its own destruction. But what I do like to see from the crew, not just the laziness and all that, is the fact that they're basically just taking up a species, enslaving it. But when they're getting them all out at the end, I don't care, just get one out at a time. I don't care if they die. Yeah. It's really harsh, but the way it's played is quite clever because they've become, just there's no empathy to it. It's just
I must have missed all of that. I didn't get any of that.
Didn't you get this? The slavery stuff is really explicit, isn't it? Even the way that the kind of
who was enslaved?
The Thermi beasts,
the Burrock lot.
Yeah, but they were the slaves as well.
There was a twist as well because they was the slave to when you went over to their side. They just thought human was their slave, and they had a good scene where he smacks the girl away, and it was like this is the way you treat them. And then you saw them on the side where the humans are using them as the slaves as well. So it was like both sides. Yeah,
it's not sides. It's past and present.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It wasn't side. So what you were seeing when you was in the past in that banqueting scene, that was the past, and that's when the Tharals were dominant and they had humans as slaves. And then when you come to the present, because the humans then had an uprising, created the Gundam robots, and which killed or destroyed the Tharal Empire. And then what's the matter, John?
I don't have a fucking clue about any of this shit. I don't know what you're talking about. Gundam robots.
They're the ones at the end of episode 1 that have the kind of the hammers that come down and
they're the Gundams.
All right. Okay.
Because that's what the humans made to win back their sort of freedom.
But I think my lack of interest in this is very much down to the fault of the writers for not making.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of
making things. It doesn't have to be completely clear. It just has to be moderately clear and with a little bit of help given. Yeah. If you have to read fucking Target novels and Pirate Bay off the internet for some audiobooks and stuff, then I think. Because
thanks for that, John. Thanks for providing that.
You're admitting it now.
No, I got it off you. I got it off you, John.
My first comment on episode 3 is K9 appears fucked. That was the most fun. Was K9 being absolutely fucked?
Yeah, it gets worse, doesn't it, as the story goes on? That bit when he chucks him out of the spaceship, it's clearly hollow. You can see inside it. Yeah. I just love that bit up his skirt.
I thought that I'm not a massive fan of Adric, so having him on the side and having to me
wasn't in it really.
Yeah, and it seemed to be written off.
Well, I've
he found his way to the place somehow. Explained why or how he was going there.
That's a whole storyline that was sort of exercised. It's sort of mentioned right at the beginning in episode 1 about tossing a coin because it's all I Ching or some sort of book of philosophy that you could just go around flipping
Well,
a coin
I
3
figured
times.
I figured that was something to do with E-Space. Now, what is E-Space?
It's an alternative universe.
Which they go to by
Is it
accident.
negative? Is it not? Is it yin and yang? Is it the positive to the negative of our universe? Or
I don't think it's really
Yeah.
explored, is it? It's just E-Space.
Yeah, it's just
It's Doctor Who wasn't that complex back then.
No, but
and why is everything white in E-Space?
it's not. That's
It's not.
not. They're in the middle. They're in
They're in
zero
the-
coordinates.
like a
So that's
grey area.
So
Yeah.
right. So is that why the garden's black and white, because it's both dark and light in the same place? Is that a crossover point?
I think it's just because it looks cool and it was cheap.
Yeah.
And just put
Yeah.
photographs up.
Shit.
John, in the previous 2 stories, John, they go into E-Space by accident, and you've got 2 stories where obviously Adric comes into it, and then these are just like the 3 of them, and they're just ordinary adventures really to watch them, but they set them in E-Space. The E-Space pretty much makes no difference. It's just something they say.
It's
And
a
they're-
smaller universe that they need to
Yeah.
get out of, but it's quite difficult to get out. But this
Yeah.
is this
It's a
chap
smaller universe.
a lot smaller.
It's not explained. It's just stated,
Yeah.
and has no relevance on any of the stories that I can remember off the top of my head.
It just means they're in a place of not been before to
Right.
try and do a bit of something
As-
clever.
As a positive, I found a positive in this. I think Romana was quite formidable and clever, and I really liked her sassiness.
Yeah. Well, this is why she can leave now. I think she's kind of become the Doctor,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
and her journey's done, and off she
So
goes.
she is she a time lord?
yes.
Yeah.
she
Yes.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she regenerates in it as well. So, we have 2
what
Romanas.
happens to her after?
She goes. We don't know. She's never really mentioned.
So she
She's
could
never been
appear in
brought
any
back.
Doctor Who now.
Yeah.
Well, she appears in spin-offs, like the audios and the books. She's
Right.
appeared in them, but on television, she's not mentioned at all, I don't think.
In canon, she would still be in E-Space as far as we know. But yeah, there's no reason at all why she
No,
couldn't come
But
back.
then again, they got rid of K9 out of there though, didn't they?
Yeah, but that was
Oh.
K9 Mark II, I think.
Oh yeah. of
And
course.
the Doctor built another one and brought it to give to Sarah Jane
Yeah,
for
that
K9
was
and
it.
company.
There was a whole kind
I
of
was
rumor.
thinking about that, yeah, because I'd watched something with Sarah Jane.
Yeah, that's a different
K9.
K9. I think he gets up to Mark IV at some point.
You should have called it K10. Would have been easier for me.
K1, K2, K3. Right. Anyway, we've got a little break for a song. So I've got my D20 out. So let's see whose choice we're going to have this time. Oh my God, this fucking dice would work now. It's a critical hit, 20, which would give us, oh God, it's Suky's choice.
Oh,
It's
really?
Genesis, Firth on Fifth.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks,
Cheers,
Mark. So this is
Especially for Mark.
Nothing to do with Mark, but thanks, Mark.
This is Suky's choice of song, Firth on Fifth by Genesis.
Good tune, that Suky, innit?
I believe so, yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm just going-
Amazing.
Back in a second.
Yeah. Where's he off? Where you off?
You're on the wank.
Where you off?
Empty
Oh.
glass.
Oh,
And my bartender's not been in. He is giving the dogs a haircut, so that's probably why. So
Craig, is your mic facing the right way? Because you're dead quiet to me.
Yeah, you are dead quiet, mate.
it should be. It's that way.
yeah. It's just
yeah.
about 13
Alright.
miles away from him. It's in
It's just-
fucking
No,
Scarborough.
that's close enough there. I'll bring it there.
It's in Robin Hood Bay, is it?
Don't
Ah,
touch
you-
anything. Don't touch anything.
Sorry, you just made me do it. I'll lean in.
Why is your name Butt Slut?
Have you only just spotted that, John? My mother gave me that when I was born, and I've
What, that
been
name?
ridiculed all my life for that. Can you imagine it? Year 7 at school. Butt slut. Here, sir.
Oh, amazing.
Go get your drink. Sorry.
Oh, Mythic Quest Season 2's just landed, by the way, if anyone that's watching that.
Yeah, I watched the.
What is it?
Mythic Quest, it's
Oh,
based
yeah, the guy
Yeah.
from
Always Sunny in
Sunny
Philadelphia.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like a nerd game. The people who design the computer game, like World of
World of
Warcraft.
Warcraft. It's like
Yeah.
a piss take of that. It's very funny, John, if you've not seen it.
I really liked it. It was class. It's got a lot of
Yeah.
Always Sunny people in it as well. It's cool.
I'll send it to you, John, if you want. I've got them.
Nah.
It's
No,
very
Can't
good.
no.
be bothered to
it
watch.
could-
I've never watched. I've never got into Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
No, I find this was more geeky. This one, it just take the piss out of like getting.
They
people-
did an excellent lockdown episode
They did it,
like
it was
a
good.
few months ago. If you just
Yeah.
wanna watch one episode, just watch that one because that was really good.
We can do that, can't we? I'm tired. Has everyone had a lovely day?
No, crap.
No, I just woke up.
It was,
Amazing. Positivity. Love it.
Loads of meetings.
Well, what you got there, Joe? Oh, yeah, you got in the Apple Watch, didn't you, Joe?
Did.
You just having meetings, Cliff?
It's my watch. Chinese knockoff.
You see, yeah, but you do see people with phones that big on their arm nowadays, don't you? It's a bling thing. Here he is, butt slut.
Here we go. I'm just getting up there. Oh, do you know last time I had something like
YouTube
slut 69 or something like that. I forgot to change it at the end, and Matthew had a really important meeting with this.
No.
And he logged on, and it was still on. He told me afterwards. Apparently, she found it quite entertaining, but it was a bit of a serious meeting. It was like it was something 69, hunk 69, or slut 69.
Slut 69.
How do you explain that?
He would have said, "Oh, my husband was on it."
Yeah, I'm gonna say, have you met Craig? Oh yeah.
He's often down the STD clinic.
Wow.
Oh, I forgot we're on YouTube.
Yeah, we're on YouTube. It's fine. Little insight there, YouTube, into Craig's life.
If you ever need me, that's where you'll find me, Scarborough.
Bobby
What?
John, that's brilliant.
What are you talking about?
What was that?
Bobby suck his foot buddy.
Oh man, listen.
You got shake.
Sucky's wife's going to see this, and it's just going to ruin everything for him.
I'll show it to
Not
her.
see any
Yeah,
interest in
yeah,
Progtor.
No, she won't.
Yeah, I'll just show it to her, and she'll go, "Who the hell is Bob?"
Yeah, she'll be like, not another one,
I'll go,
Sucky.
"It's that one over there."
Not another one. Here's your tea. That's what she'll do.
I've had to eat early as well because of it. Always keep complaining when I bring food in here.
See, we never eat before 9. It's ritualistic here, so 9 till 9:30. It's meal time. It's like
That's a lovely roti and sabji.
I had fish and chips, mushy peas, curry sauce on the chips, and half a battered sausage.
I had quiche homemade potato salad and lettuce.
have you
I had an energy drink. That was it.
You're from Salford and you have no teeth.
Because I just finished work and then I went straight onto this.
You crazy gang.
So is it just me and you, Cliff, that are going to eat later? I never eat before anything like
No, I'll eat
or
later.
D,
Yeah.
ever.
Well, if I was still abusing my entire system with alcohol and things, I would, have not eaten pretty much till tomorrow. So yeah, I'm quite happy to have my food and then just sit in my pajamas.
I had a shower before this.
Returns.
Yeah, actually, in fact, I've got it in my diary. It's the 7th on 9th of the month or something like that. It's
Is it January again? Oh.
Just a cat lick.
Cat lick shower. Delicious. Right, let's get back into this thing. Right, okay.
But Sucky's dead entertained. He's playing.
What's he on his phone? Candy Crush or whatever. Grinder. That's what he'll be on.
Is it me you're messaging? I've been looking at the Cliff's dad all night.
Watch out for slut 69, Sucky.
No, I'm trying to look for Slut 69.
Right, are you ready?
Yeah.
What are you on your phone for? What are you doing?
I'm just making sure I'm just checking to see if there's any more messages.
All right, fair
God,
enough.
what is it? Phone police. I'm going to go on my phone.
Yeah, have a word, Craig. Sort him out.
I'm just
Go
going
on,
to go
butt slut. Have a word with him.
Hang on,
Look,
hang on.
I've got 2
Hello?
messages here.
Hello? Tom Jolly, like that one for 90s people. Right, anyway, let's get into this. Where am I? I've lost my notes now. There we go. I don't know why I need it. This is very easy. Right, cool. And that was Sucky's song choice. That was Genesis 5th on the 1st or something like that. What was it called, Sucky, that again?
It was Genesis something or other.
You're listening to Progtor Who? Wow. We're halfway through our
Hold on, let me just text Mark and he'll let me know.
We're halfway through our review of the Warriors Gate. It's been a bit of a mixed match so far. Sucky, I'm going to come to you because you're busy.
I was busy, but thanks anyway for interrupting that. But no, it's. I think all of us are really positive about it. It's only John that got a bit.
But then all of us aren't really positive.
Yeah,
eh?
all of us except John. I said. Right.
There was a comment there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
John's on it
Put a
tonight.
full stop there between them. That's why.
But so you look at it and you see the storyline of the Tarrels who were the original slavers, and then they became the enslaved, and then they're trying to break free. It's a good story, and then you got the elements of the time travel sort of in it as well. I think it's just let down by the production problems, and now the production with the all white backgrounds, a lot of CGI, the black and white photographs. I think if Paul Joyce had been given full reign, proper as he wanted to do it on film, he would have made it probably a really excellent standout serial that most people would still be talking about now.
I agree, completely agree.
Because this whole process of the BBC having a certain way of doing things, right, sort of scuppered all that, and he's
rushed
just
it. It rushed.
Is it not just about the fact that it would have cost too much if he'd been allowed to do his thing, and the BBC has obligations to budget?
There was that, but they weren't used to. I mean, what he was doing was, rather than it was set out like a theatre, so he had 3 or 4, whatever, 5 massive cameras, and it was done like a sort of live theatre production, really, as you would maybe call it back then. And he had to find the only sort of handheld camera to get some of his moving shots and things like that. And he was doing it like a film, so he was doing close-ups, back shots, but doing take rather than the usual kind of more live, live kind of.
But I can understand why they push back at that.
No, I can.
Thematically, you've got to kind of keep a consistency going, haven't you? And if you get a sort of somebody in who does completely different things, it ruins the whole flow of the whole thing. By all means, do a whole series like that. But
I don't think
episodes in the end in there just.
No,
if differently would be weird.
I think time constraints as well. Really, with BBC, they like to pump them out. To them, it's in their head. It's a serial. They've got this short amount of time, and then it's done, dusted, gone.
I don't think he helped himself either, because when you see him in interviews, he's very much like arrogant, cocky, maybe all them sort of things.
He's a bit pretentious. He comes across with his shades on, and he's like, I don't know, he's got a problem with his eyes or something.
I think he has, because you see him, he's actually got the shades on while he's doing the film, like the original serial. So I don't know if he's got a problem there all the way through to when he does his.
He's probably blind.
I think his vision was really brilliant. The way he sets off the whole episode, kind of climbed the stairs and in the ventilator. I think it's just awesome. It really is so tense. Well, it's just so it's not Doctor Who, and that's what makes it brilliant to begin with, right through. I love it. I don't see many production problems with it, really. Or maybe I'm being a bit blind. I can see that bits look cheap and things, but I think it holds together really.
But I think the stuff that looked great looked really good. I love the black and white photographs with the color.
I didn't like that. I never got that.
I
get it now. It's surreal.
I get it now, but at the time I was just thinking it's cheap. It's cheap. Yeah, it's a CSL background where people are just walking by.
I like the white spaces though. I like the models. I like the banquet
models.
hall.
Oh God, the banquet hall. And when you first see the outside of the kind of the gate entrance. It's like a weird theatre prop just stuck in the middle of a white room. And to me, that is so cool. Yeah, absolutely. As a kid, maybe I didn't think that, but now I just think it's so atmospheric. It's quite peaceful and inviting, and you go in. And that banquet hall, the way it moves through time is just genius. I love it. It's very, very sapphire and steel, actually, of its era, I think.
Yeah.
Definitely.
John was just leaving a worded review in his name slot there for everyone. The ep was shite. There you go. Just a bit more emphasis on there to John's thoughts.
Well, I in finding another positive and in mention in note of something that Craig mentioned, the opening images of the slow pan around the room of all the Biroks or whatever the fuck they are. That was good, and I saw in that first couple of episodes some interesting directorial choices, some good, interesting camera work. but that's not going to hold together an episode that is a little bit shambolic for me.
Yeah, but
I think
I know. I know you're all saying it's a bit an episode. The storyline is, but you got to put some of this partly down to blame on Paul Joyce as well, because he did have a hand in writing or doing some of the rewrites. Right, so he could have done it a bit better. But
I'll be honest with you. Apparently, Paul Joyce's input on this was having his sandaled sock feet up on a desk and every half an hour chirping with some idea that wasn't used by Christopher H. Bidmead, and it was him that sort of did the rewrites out of what was essentially a novel. I mean, I would be interested to hear the extended audio book that you had, Suky.
I'd quite like to hear that as well.
Yeah,
actually,
I wouldn't mind listening to
It's
that.
available on Pirate Bay. But,
It's available from All Good Pirates.
You'll have to send me the link, John, because I don't know where it is.
I think our understanding of enjoying it has probably come from the fact that we'd seen it all before when we was a lot younger, and then we've got it in our head and we can appreciate it now. But watching it as a first person, for John's eyes point of view, I can definitely understand why John is watching it and going, "What the fuck's going on?" Because unless you're going to look into the episode, which you shouldn't really have to, especially when it's supposed to be aimed at children as well.
Exactly.
Then you're going to lose the plot of it. So you shouldn't have to wait until your mid-40s to understand an episode.
I've watched in this voyage of Progtor Who, I've watched quite a lot of episodes out of context. I have no idea where they are, and nearly all of them work.
Yeah.
No, you've listened. You've watched a lot as well now, John. To be fair, but I do think this season, well, not the whole season, but I don't know. I mean, it is a lot more complex. They have gone to an extreme. They've gone like, we're not being stupid anymore. We're going to put in every bit of science, gobbledygook.
Compare this to Horns of Nymon that came only the season before, isn't it?
Yeah,
really different in tone.
It's a point I wanted to make a bit earlier, but this story, even though it's been developed for this season, there was a lot of humour in it that was also ultimately cut out. The only thing that was still left in there was probably the Aldo and Royce as the double act. But then all the little comedy moments were played for real. And I can't give you any examples because I can't remember any. But
you had Lane and his little looks to camera when he was being a bit dumb. And to be fair, Orvik was quite funny. He just wanted to get something done, and at the end, I love that over the top, like
pompousness about him.
Yeah, because
really funny.
You do know Clifford Rose, the actor. He says, he does say in the documentary, based it on Captain Mannering, and the way, and that's perfectly personified when you got the bank when they're all sitting around the cobweb table, and he's there trying to say all this stuff, and they're not listening to him. And there's another bit where he's on top of the gantry and he's talking to the best men in the space fleet or whatever, and they're all going, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, "Yes, we are men," and they all agree. That's all. Captain Mannering, if you look at it,
he just doesn't pull them along, does it?
It did come across as comedic, though. It came across as he's a bastard.
I thought it came across as more acting on behalf of the back. Yeah.
But as I says, they decided that any comedy moments that could have been like that, could have been played for comedy, was to be played for real, right? So it doesn't.
They deliberately made him a bastard then. Yeah.
Well, he was a bully. He was a captain that was a bully.
I've got it down here. This captain is an arsehole.
Yeah, he's a bully that likes to bullies and kill Tharrells just for.
Well, that has to be there, doesn't it, in order to use their life the way that it does? Because there's no disregard for life, whether it be the Tharrells or his crew. And even Romana, all he wanted was to get back. It was irrelevant what she had, what skills. It was just like she's time sensitive, shove her in there and don't tell her.
Well, with it as well, I mean, there's many things I love about it. And there's very, I mean, I feel like I've really got to know this story now. Yeah. But I appreciate what John's saying is you shouldn't have. I mean, I might have to
rewatch the entire East Space trilogy to enjoy this one properly.
I don't think you need to.
I don't think you do.
Or at least I have to rewatch this one to enjoy it.
Yeah, properly. I think it is definitely a story.
Of the help that you lads have given me, that it's probably a different result. But
it's worth. I mean, my second watch today. Bear in mind, I have seen this a lot before, and I've read the Target novel, and I've watched some Blu-ray extras.
Have you read the Target novel? I've not picked up on that.
And I mean, like you say, Craig, I've read the Target novel. You know, I read books. You know, I read books that take me 40 minutes to read, which Target
They're not challenging, are they? Not challenging.
It's my level. I found my level. but now on that last watch, which I had this afternoon, I felt like I had got to know the story, but it took me that much to sort of say, yes, I kind of do know this story now.
It's one that it's the one that you need to think and mull over, and every time you see it, you appreciate it more. That's why I compared it to Ghostlight, because first time I watched that, I was like, what the hell is this about? And now, as you know, we reviewed it, I absolutely truly love that story, but I wouldn't be surprised anyone their first watch going, what is that?
Yeah, exactly.
Your reaction doesn't surprise me, John, but I do think if you do go back and watch it, you'll see different things in it, and it will grow on you. And be sure of that.
Watch, we'll get a message later tonight going.
It's that was not a shower.
We'll get a message an hour and a half later tonight, an hour and a half after we finish this podcast, going, well, that was a fucking waste of an hour and a half of my life, lads. Cheers for that.
Yeah, I'll never listen to Craig again.
I'm not gonna watch it again. No.
Oh, go on, John.
Give it a go, John.
Let's review it again next month. Let's
review it again 10 years from today.
Part 2.
Right, I'll put that in the diary. Cliff Shower and reviewing Warriors Gear. 10 years. The year 2031. I'll tell you one thing I've not talked about with you lads before. I quite want to talk about it. It's just K9. I love K9.
Yeah,
he gets so much shit off. I think it's mainly off production people and actors on the show. I don't know many fans that dislike him. But that could be.
I loved K9. One of my primary Doctor Who memories of the past, apart from just a vague impression of Tom Baker and Peter Davidson, is K9, and he was he was my favourite character in the whole thing.
Absolutely, yeah.
It was quite cool as well because he kept
a robot dog. It was fucking age.
Yeah,
exactly. Awesome. With his stupid voice, and it was a laser gun and all that kind of stuff. And John Leeson, he was brilliant. I did a companion chronicle on I think it was with Phil Cannon when he was doing companion specials on the Who's He podcast, and I chose K9. And I don't know the guy who voiced him the season before this, but K9 kind of lost his personality without having to kick K9 geek off. And John Leeson adds a lot to the character, but I just love K9. It's the best thing. And not just as a kid, as a 42-year-old man. Yeah. It's still brilliant.
I'm not convinced as a 49-year-old man.
I don't know.
I think when they brought him back for Sarah Jane Adventures, it really works as well because you have the retro look, because it's obviously looks cool, doesn't it? It looks cool to us because they get Harper's back. But have you seen they tried to bring his own series, didn't they? A few years ago.
That was terrible.
They tried to up and make it all modern.
A really terrible theme song to it.
Yeah,
or was that the Sarah Jane thing that he was in? It just became.
It was in Sarah Jane as well.
It was in Sarah Jane, but as it's the retro look. But then they tried doing another one, didn't they? Where it's
brand new one and changed it. Was it Australian? It was terrible.
Yeah,
terrible. But I'm getting positive vibes from you guys about K9.
Oh yeah. Oh god,
K9. I love K9.
Good.
Doesn't piss on your leg.
He doesn't know shit.
And whenever you see K9 out,
downside, that is the one downside.
Right, I'm gonna have a quick whip round and get some final thoughts. I'll come to you first, please, John.
Right, I'm going to go through and read some of the lines that I wrote. As this is Birok an old lion from Thundercats, or is the guy from Spaceballs?
Oh, Thundercats!
What? I mean, Craig mentioned about the cobweb room, in the middle of nowhere, and that came across as cheap and tacky stage furniture. But yeah, I can understand why you would have liked it. The striations of the timelines. What?
It's the different iterations of the timelines.
Striations isn't the word you want to use. Then you want to use different iterations of.
I think they're saying strands or strains.
I thought the ship. What was it?
Privateer.
That was a very cool design of ship. It reminded me surprisingly of Firefly.
Oh yes, and a bit like the mining vessel in the Robots of Death. Actually, thinking about it.
Oh yeah, I was thinking that too. Yeah,
it was meant like a frog, wasn't it? A leaping frog is what the footnotes said.
Looks cool.
Yeah.
MZ, what's that? What's that?
That machine, isn't it?
Some sort of weapon, like.
Yeah.
What the fuck is it? Is what I wrote. Dwarf Star Alloy.
That comes in it before.
Is that like because we've had in the last one we reviewed for
the
Space Pirates?
Thrillium or something. That
Is
metal,
there
wasn't
some
it?
sort of metal that never appears again? Because dwarf star alloy as a concept is really cool. It being like really heavy,
Dense,
I like that
dense.
idea.
Yeah. And
quite cool.
so heavy it can make space come in on itself
Why? And yeah, so that was the reason why space was contracting then.
because of the element. Yeah, the
Yeah.
white dwarf.
Okay,
Yeah.
that ticks off 2 of my comments. Romana going, it's just like it was a bit soft for me. I don't care. Everything explodes, lots of miniatures get blasted, and that was quite good. But as far as notes goes, that's pretty much it. I mean, I wrote the first note is Kilroy was here on the graffiti on the wall.
Yeah.
Aldo and Kilroy. Yeah.
That's such a wartime reference. That really dates it. Does the Kilroy was here?
Always reminds me of Robert Kilroy's Silk.
Yes, it does me as well, actually.
The Kilroy was here was sort of explained in that there is an actual character on the ship called Kilroy.
Yeah, I reckon that's
One of
Yeah,
the orange people was called Kilroy.
In the Target novel, I read the Target novel, by the way. There was there was a lot more characters as well. There was loads of character names, but I think they all got cut as well.
Yeah, I must admit, I don't have many character names down. They do just seem to blend into one on this, pretty much.
Yeah,
for
they got cut a lot.
Yeah.
All of them got cut.
Cool. Well, thank you, John. Do you think you'll go back and watch it again?
Nope.
Yeah, for next month.
We're just gonna review Warriors Gate every month from now
Until
on.
John says he likes it.
In that case, I like it.
Hey!
Change
it.
It'll be reflected in my score.
Buttslut69, you're next. Get your final thoughts and comments out, please.
Yeah.
Answer straight away. Didn't it? Buttslut69.
We all love him as well.
Sorry, I was just saying yes to the guy behind me. I was enjoying it.
Carry on, Craig. Your final comments.
Carry on, Craig.
Yes. That's the whole reason Kenneth Cope's in this episode.
Yeah, I really love this story. I don't think for me we picked up enough on the slave links. There was loads of slavery. I loved all the themes on that. Everything.
Loves a bit of slavery, does Craig?
Yeah. Why is everything an innuendo? I was being serious, but I shouldn't have said that. Yeah, I loved all that. It reminded me very much kind of going back to year 8, and you had the whole triangle of trade, the way in which the ships would maneuver across with slavery. And that's what I saw going on here. And I really enjoyed the kind of the twist in the story that Cliff talked about earlier on, where the enslaved become the slaves, the masters rather. The Alice in Wonderland links, they're in there as well, aren't they? There's a couple of them. So you've got Borok as the Cheshire Cat with a smiling and coming and going. That's quite clever. And then you have it again in the conference, not the conference room, the banquet room, where the doctor's looking through the three windows. So you've got that, which is very Alice in Wonderland, apparently. But then you've also got I love the Gundam robots, what they're called.
Yeah, Gundam robots, yeah.
They look, class. I mean, as a kid, they felt a bit cheap and plasticky and kind of clinky. But looking at them now and the way they kind of, they tell the story, the narration, I love that comes through. It's kind of like an added voice throughout the story. They're probably my main things about it. Anything else really? Oh, there's that scene. Did you see the scene where the microphone is coming out of the MZ prop and they're all stood talking, and this is massive. It's almost like Bob there. It's literally this whole microphone just sticking out in amongst the crew.
I didn't notice that.
It was in the notes. I would never have noticed it had it have not directed me to it, because I had never seen anything like that. It was brilliant. So that's it really for me. I think it is one of those stories that really grows on you. And for me, it's the atmosphere, and it's just so rustic, and it does give a bit of a feel of industrial. I know it's, in some ways, it's tinny, I suppose. When they're walking around the ship, it really gives a feel. It's not clean cut. It's not Star Trek. It really is industrial. And even like John mentioned, the graffiti, as cheesy as it might be. So lots of things going in there. You've got the slavery, you've got Romana's leaving, but it all feels quite raw and vulnerable, which is what I like about this story. But it is completely bonkers, and I don't think it makes total sense. But Doctor Who rarely makes sense. The amount of times I've watched a Doctor Who finale and thought, I've no idea how that's come to an end. This is no different to that.
Fair enough. Thank you, Craig. Cliff?
Yeah, like I said, I really enjoy it. There's the faults with it, but the good parts, what I liked was I liked Clifford Rose. I like his interpretation of really trying to keep the band of people together, because he could easily have a mutiny and they could have just, overtaken the ship and did what they wanted. He does lose it a bit, and it's a real shame, like Suki was saying, that the elements of the comedic aspect of the writing wasn't put in there, because I think you could have had something really funny with him a bit, and not slapstick, but some of his comments could have been a bit cleverly written for his. It's a real shame about Romana, I said before, but all the way through it, she keeps her lippy on. Have you noticed? It's quite glossy, all the lips, all the way through it. I noticed that.
Did you, Cliff? Did you?
Yeah, I noticed that a lot.
It's a makeup art, are we?
Yeah, I'm a makeup specialist, obviously. I do think it's really good for the East Space trilogy, and it's nice to watch the whole lot as it fits together from one end to the other. So you don't have to have watched it, but the understanding where Adric is, and he hasn't really taken flight in this at the moment. He does in the later episodes, but yeah, it seems to be separately written on one side. I liked the pictures. I liked all those black and white stuff. I loved the white scenery. I loved the special effects. The interior of their ship felt to me a little bit like Red Dwarf when in years later.
Yeah. I can see
that rustic, atmospheric, all dark, dingy. Could just be a warehouse in Salford. Maybe that's where he got his inspiration from.
Your house.
For that.
My house. My dad's dungeon. The music in it was top notch. I thought it fit perfectly with the atmosphere within it.
It was
Still
great.
got those silly little tropes. And K9, I liked it when he started going off the wall. I thought that was really quite clever. It's like an old Commodore 64 just.
But also, he was kind of making a bit of sense, and then just going off it, like it was kind of cool, like a bit like a soothsayer. So you got to take little glimmers out of it. Some crazy computer soothsayer.
K9 had the answers for what was going on, but it was so jumbled up in the mess of, because he was messed up himself, that it took a while for them to get the answers, which I liked that, because it felt like everyone else just thought, oh, what, he's talking to that silly thing, and then the Doctor kept going to it. Tom Baker, I think these last few episodes this season, I know that he wanted to leave, but he just gives that element that is not as punchy, not as feisty as his first few seasons, and you could see that. And I didn't think his acting was very good.
He's just going through the motions.
I know, but that's wrong for me. He's getting paid. Just do it.
But
I still have to do a job if he hadn't even noticed.
Yeah, he was ill during this season, and he was going through a bad relationship with Laura Ward. So
he married her.
Yeah, he married her, but it was quite an honour. You could see in this whole episode, they're not looking at each other at all.
Regular.
Like, he's always looking off at the distance and not looking at her.
Regular thing, though, isn't it? And did you know what? I think it really adds to season 18, the fact he does look so dejected, and it's well played from the point of view as in, like, my time's up and this is how I'm just going to fade out. I quite like that.
See, I just see an exhausted actor. If you compare him in season one, and I find it a bit sad that such an energetic Doctor becomes so disheveled by this point with no real reason. The actor is leaving. The Doctor doesn't normally get tired like that. There's no reason. There's no big event he's just gone through that would make him as a character like that.
If you look at it like this, he's the longest serving Doctor Who by a while. If you put that into context into the show, I just like that about season 18. That you can be a different Baker.
Genius. I was so in love with the show at this time. I was worshipping it completely. I was oblivious to all this, but as an adult, I can see it. And there are just those times, like Cliff said, when he looks like he's not really engaged at all.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I've always quite liked it. Just weirdly quite liked it. Cliff, is that you empty, or have you got any more?
And also Stephen Gallagher, like I said, from Salford.
Yeah, man. Stephen Gallagher, John Lydecker. So that's what the target novel is, but it's called a target novel, Craig. Sucky.
Have you got a copy you could send me, Bob, or have you not got one?
Oh yeah, I've got a copy of it on target novel, yeah. Sucky, have you got your final ramblings?
I have got quite a bit. For the YouTubers.
Is that the book you've just been reading? Is that the target novel?
Remember, I wasn't reading. I was listening to the audio.
Have you just written out the target novel by hand? Wow, Sucky, that's impressive. Right, better get strapped in, lads, for this one.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes, please.
go grab yourselves a cup of tea or coffee then. I'll be here in a while.
Actually, I will do that.
You cheeky gitties as well.
1 minute. You'll still be talking, Sucky.
Yeah.
Flipping darling where you are, you know.
It's just fucked off.
I'm off the toilet, fuck it.
Right, for everybody else.
I'm still here, Sucky.
Did you? There was the old-fashioned telephones right on the side of the spaceship doors, and I'm thinking that's a bit weird. That's dating it a bit. There was some wire models in the. I can't believe everybody's walked off on the YouTube. Everybody has walked off. So it looks like I'm talking to myself. I don't give a shit about you guys. Fucking tosses all the fucking lot of you.
We're very sorry, Sucky.
Fucking bastards.
I'm here, mate.
Fuck
I'm here,
you.
We've done it.
Right.
We've broken
There was
it.
some early 3D wire model. It looked like it was CG, but it
Yes.
wasn't.
It
But it was just a 3D wire model of the TARDIS going around. Adric and some of his delivery of his lines was a bit horrendous. I mean, I know it's early on his acting career, but even I was looking at thinking somebody should have maybe had a word with him and say, they'll put the emphasis on that. The mirror effect of them passing through to get to the other side of in the gateway, that was a quite decent little effect, and I quite like that.
I think there was a lot of that though, Sucky. A lot of decent, I'd say decent effects like that.
Is Sucky still
He
talking?
really tried to get.
Yes, he is.
He really tried to get his vision. I know he had messed up with the coin thing, but that mirror effect was very clever.
Yeah.
Oh, the mirror effect was cracking. I didn't talk about that. I love the way people get healed when they go through it. That was really
Yeah.
clever.
It's a cool concept.
Sorry if you've said that already, Sucky. I wasn't
No,
listening.
that was just yeah. You carry on. Yeah, no, if you'd have been here listening to me, you would have heard. But no, you had to go. You know, terrible.
He comes out with good stuff. He does come out with good stuff.
He does,
I'm
actually.
being-
listens to me
I'm being
because
serious.
everybody walks off and makes their tea.
We did.
I feel
That's because we
so-
saw the size of the notepad. I was like, geez, that's gonna be a
I
while.
feel so lonely at the other end of this.
Don't
phone.
be. I'm here for you, darling. I mean,
Don't worry,
I genuinely do love the stuff you say. So, and I find it very interesting.
And I've sent you a message on Grindr as well, so you're all right.
Have you?
Yeah.
Did he
What
stop?
was that? Slut 69.
Yes.
that came. Oh, yeah, I got that.
Right, carry on,
Um,
Sucky.
Yeah, after each restart of
Oh,
an
it's still
episode.
going.
Yes.
I bet let the man finish.
After the start of each episode, brand new episode, there was always a lengthy reprise of what happened in the end.
Yes, there was.
It's
yeah.
like a minute and a half.
Too
of everything.
much. Too much.
Yeah, I was thinking it's just too much. There's a bit where the Gundam's axe, the two Gundam robots come together, and the Doctor just bends down, and they bash each other's heads in.
Yeah.
And I was thinking that was a bit silly.
It was silly, yeah.
Silly.
Yeah.
But at the other thing as well, one of the axes falls onto Tom
Yeah.
Baker's back.
Yeah.
And I said, that's supposed to be a proper
Yeah.
axe.
Well,
But that would have taken a chunk out of it.
luckily that was the plastic one. I think there was actually a metal one. The one that comes on the table is a proper metal axe, which the crazy Matt Irving.
I love Matt Irving.
Matt Irving's amazing. I've made a note about Matt Irving saying he's insane but so lovely and enthusiastic.
Oh, he's lovely.
But he
Did you,
just got the axe and went, I'm doing this, and smashed it into the table.
did you watch the swap shop clip that's on the Blu-ray?
I didn't actually. That's the only one I didn't watch.
Right. He goes, this is how we make a certain model. And he brings out a lampshade and he goes, and he sticks a bit of Airfix kit to it, a little bit of glue. Right, but there's a finished one. But I was thinking, he goes, I'll offer this as a swap shop. I mean, who wants to swap their Scale Electric set for a bit of lampshade? I was thinking that's just terrible.
I bet he's had loads of people with that trick before.
But that's
I
what
think,
he offered.
Suki, just to mention that axe bit, I think what Craig and I was picking up on before, if this was the first few seasons of Tom, you can imagine him doing a bit of a battle with them rather than just going, you know what I mean? It wasn't enthusiastic like the first few seasons. It was that much that taking control in the physical aspects of the acting that they even written a lot more in for him.
From what I've read, that there was supposed to be a little action scene there, proper action scene, but it was cut. I think there's a couple of places where there should have been action scenes and they were cut mainly because of probably timing reasons. Maybe it just says there's too much in the episode, we can't really do it.
The Doctor's quite isolated, isn't he? Really, the Doctor and for most of the story, it's not even attached. He just goes off
Yeah.
and has his own little adventure completely with going through the mirror, and that's it. He doesn't really engage with what's going on till episode 4, I don't think.
Well, in the extended audio book,
Did you listen
which
to
I'm
that?
listening to,
Right.
yes,
Did you get that
Right.
Pirate Bay?
there's a whole
$13.99.
30 Audible. It's free on Audible.
All right,
It's
yeah.
Audible. Right, get your month's trial. Right, but the Romana and the Doctor storylines, they're swapped. Right, so it's completely the Doctor's the one that's in the chair getting getting synced up, and Romana's doing other things. It's just
Well, that's
it's
what it was
totally different.
originally meant to be, I think, because he didn't necessarily know it was a time lady he was writing for, a Time Lord. That's why the Romana thing happened, because they could do it that way.
There's a big continuity thing during the whole of this story, whereas with K9's antennas, there's a scene that was cut. It's on the again
Ears.
Blu-ray. The ears. Adric took one of the ears and let K9 go away. But then there's scenes where the K9's got his antenna in, and there's scenes with it out, and it's just the continuity there was sort of spoilt by this little one scene. One of the best cliffhangers I know is from this story, and it's a bit where Romana is menaced by whatever's coming through on the
She don't
hand.
half shout, doesn't she? See the size of that mouth.
Yeah, and the scream that she gives, it's just blood curdling. So I think that's again.
Bet Tom made a scream.
Can I just butt in for a second, because I know you've probably got another 10 pages.
Can you use Butt Slut 69 for a second? Of course.
Yeah, there's that scene in episode 1 where she goes to Adric. If I do this signal,
That's
it's like she's doing YMCA. One of the most bizarre sequences, and it is completely random. How do you fit that in? It's not like a scratch of the head; it's some whole maneuver. So it's just when I watch, I always think it's ridiculous.
Yes, I did. I had got that down, isn't it? I was just thinking it's just strange.
Yeah.
I like the lightweight K9 prop that everybody seems to pick up, but instead of holding it correctly, it's always shelled the underside, so you can see there's no workings in there at all. And that happens a couple of times in this story. I like the concept of the dwarf star alloy, right? Because it's that heavy, it's just making the whole area where they are that dense, and so it's contracting the whole little universe area that's there.
It doesn't actually make any science sense, yeah.
It might not make, but within the
It's
storyline,
fun though, isn't it? It's
within
fun
the story
sense.
for us, it makes sense.
Not for John.
Not for John. There's a scene where at the banqueting table where the Tharrells are all feasting, and then you have the serving wench come by, and
That's a proper stick.
yeah,
You hear what, Cliff? I'm waiting for this. I knew you
just
just say this. Oh,
he
right.
just whacks a boob. Right?
Yeah,
Whacks a boob.
that made me gasp that, because it sounded like a proper slap. It didn't feel
Yes,
like,
and it was a slap.
it was a proper.
I thought you meant the sight of a pair of tits, Craig.
No, I couldn't relate to that. No, I
Not
just imagine,
titties.
I imagine a hairy chest. But no, it's like it was a real slap. It didn't feel like a stunt at all. I don't know if it was.
No,
Or
and
not.
I did like Tom Baker's reaction to that, or the doctor's reaction to that, was
What,
to
when he
pour that
grabbed
white. Well, yeah, I had to go on them dirty pillows. No, when he
Stop it,
when he was pouring the wine, he just knocked over the glass. It was so subtle, and then the knife went for the thing, and then the scene stopped, and all this like timey stuff was happening. I really like that.
Well, that explains, doesn't it? The wine glass that's knocked over
Yes.
in
Yeah,
episode
yeah.
1. It's a continuity connection between
Yeah.
the two. And John at this point is thinking, "What the fuck are they talking about?" I can see it in his face.
The
Sorry, John.
sorry, John, but I will finish soon. Don't you worry. There's
It's 9 o'clock already.
we were talking about Romana
Still
becoming the
2021,
Doctor.
because it feels like it could be worse.
Corona is cured.
We were talking about Romana becoming more like the Doctor, and there's this scene in one of the episodes where the Doctor goes around gives Romana orders, and she immediately just turns around and gives it to her companion, which has been like Adric. So she's becoming more and more like the Doctor and not taking any nonsense. There's a bit where Romana is hitting Rovik with a flipping clipboard. It's like, here's a little tap on your shoulder.
Oh, yeah.
That was terrible. I do like the fact some of the lines that Tom Baker does give to when Romana does leave. You were the noblest Romana of them all, right? And then the last line will she be all right? She will be superb.
Yeah,
Right, and I thought that was absolutely brilliant.
nice little nod.
Yeah, but Mary Tam was gutted.
Yeah.
I'm sure she wasn't that bothered, to be honest, Craig.
I would have been if I played Adric 1 and then Adric 2 got told he was better than me.
Like, fuck, there was not an Adric 2.
Should have been an Adric 1.
June Hudson, who's a costume designer in this, she does Behind the Sofa.
She's amazing.
With Tom Baker and John Leeson.
Yeah.
And she says these were like prison suits. But on the
they were NASA, weren't NASA?
They were NASA suits.
Yeah,
NASA
yeah.
Real
engineering
NASA
overalls.
suits.
Yes, the orange overalls were real NASA suits.
I bet
yeah.
from Guantanamo Bay.
They do look a bit more Guantanamo.
That's when he
don't they?
went.
Paul Joyce wanted the comedy acts, right? He wanted them to be smoking, but he wasn't going to specify what exactly they were.
He was what smoking
yes,
weed.
he
Yeah.
was,
But again, that was cut out. And the names of two of the Tharrells are Laszlo Birok. But
Suki, are you just reading out the production notes?
I am.
You are, aren't you?
I am.
Everything
Laszlo Birok. But Laszlo Biro is the person who created the biro pencil, the ballpoint pencil.
There we go. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Education.
Fucking kill myself.
This is the first story that had subtitles for CFAX.
It really is.
Yes.
He's going through everything.
Right.
He's just
Here's something
on the foot.
Here's something then that you don't know about. Mark Arden and Stephen Frost played two of the Tharrells. Now, you will know back in the 80s and 90s as the people that used to do the Carling Black labels. I bet he drinks Carling Black.
Yeah.
They played two of the Tharrells in the banqueting scene.
There you go. So CFAX. Yeah.
And that's the end of my notes.
Awesome. You didn't mention the continuity link of Adric. Because that was in the footnotes as well. Did you not mention that?
No, I thought you were going to mention that.
Oh, right. I'll say.
Actually, no, I think you did mention it. I just walked off and made a cup of tea.
Oh, yeah. So there was that scene when obviously Adric goes to rescue Romana, but it was meant to be a take that obviously he never rescues her because he goes to rescue her in the story before State of Decay from the vampires, but it doesn't work there. And it's the same thing. I got that from the footnotes. Where did you get yours from, Suki?
I got mine from the footnotes as well, Craig.
Well, I didn't know any of this information. It was very fascinating. Thank you very much, Suki, for that.
Okay.
And I can only apologise for everyone else.
I'm
Very
so
childlike
glad,
behaviour.
so glad I'm not the host and have to be nice.
Anyway, it's time to put some butts out of Slut 69 on this. Right. Cool. So, butts out of Slut 69 on this. That's max out of 10 for normal human beings. I'm going to come to you first, John. Let's get this out of the way. How many butts out of Slut 69 would you put on this?
I'm not sure what the lowest score I've ever made on something is.
Oh, wow.
But this is going to be down there, and I want to give it a few more points because I suspect I didn't get it. So it's basically there's something there that I hadn't seen in terms of quality and all that. But as a gut reaction to it, it's going to get a 3.
Wow. 3 butts out of 69 from John there. Craig.
I'm just getting over the shock of John's score, but I do understand it. That might be what I'd have given it on my first viewing. I truly love this story, and I was very excited to be reviewing it. Whether I don't understand it completely, I know I don't, but for some reason it holds I just really enjoy watching it. So I'm gonna go with a 9.
Wow,
9 out of 10. 9 butts.
Yeah, I genuinely really love this story. Sorry, John.
Strong.
No, it's fine. You're allowed to be wrong. It's fine.
I was toying between it and a 9, and then when John gave it a 3, it was like a slap in the face. It just made me jolt up to 9. Bit like a pair of boobs.
Cliff.
I'm going to give it 7 out of 10.
Strong.
I enjoy it. There is some things which is lacking. You can tell like it was a bit rushed. To me, it should have been a bit longer as well. So 7 out of 10. I'm happy
7.
with that.
Fair enough. How many butts out of Slut 69 would you give this, Suki?
Hold on, I'm just going to make myself a cup of tea.
John,
it's
John,
your
when you walked off before, I got up as well.
and then I did as
That's
well.
not how it works, Sucky. You're off
Yeah.
somebody else's segment.
No, it's your.
We all walked off before he was up.
Oh my god!
I'll tell you what.
I tell you what, right, lads, we should all fuck off and leave him when he comes back. There's nobody.
No, he's back here. He's
back.
Let's give him a round of applause.
So, Suki, you walked off your own section. Then that's not the point of doing that maneuver.
Oh. No, I had to go tell the wife to go make myself a cup of tea.
Oh, of course you did.
Whoa.
You're not capable of it, are you?
Oh, no, I don't know how to do them things.
Hope
Would
you
you
didn't
do?
give her a Biroc
Well, look
slap
out.
like the one like a Tharrell. Suki.
Oh, if I want to get battered afterwards, yeah, I'll do that.
Batters
Suki,
must be
how many
grim.
how
How
many
much is
things?
that? Yeah, it's going to be a good, flipping solid 9 out of 10.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah,
It is
Wow.
a good. It's a really good storyline.
Yeah.
It's just let down by production.
Well, I'm struggling. I don't want to. I think it. I was going to go 8, but I think it deserves more than an 8.
Yeah,
and,
I was
and,
like,
and I have got a lot out of it because, like I said, I watched it twice, read the book, watched all the production notes, and I found the journey quite fascinating. So I'm probably going to go join you guys at a 9 out of 10.
Get in.
It's a very unusual and unique episode of Doctor Who, and I love it for that.
Bob, just out of curiosity, what mark would you give the book that you read?
The book I read, I would give
Give
that
it the book.
probably a 6, 7. I wasn't that into it, but it was a good version of it, if you see what I mean. It was a good one to read, and then
Yeah,
the
the
whole
pirated audiobook version.
it was not. It was
That's
not.
lucky you've got to ask for that.
Yeah, but the book version and the audio book, the extended audio book version, they're two different, completely. It's the same storyline, but it's completely different. So you can, if you read and listen to them, but you'll get something different out of watching the
Well,
TV
is
show.
there not an actual book of it that you can read, or we just can't be asked to do that?
No, you can. I've got. It says the book's there.
No, the book is not a book of the audio
the extended
thing, or-
version.
Yeah,
No, because
Is that the
what
book you
Steve-
read? Sucky.
It's
Sorry,
a talkie book.
that's what
that I
I've read. Yeah,
Right, and as I said, Stephen Gallagher went back, got his original manuscript, and then just redid it again for the audio book version.
right.
Right, so he's taken elements of the target book and then added more scenes from what I've been reading.
Right, lovely. Wow, some strong scores then, and some not so strong scores.
Cliff?
What?
Cliff score?
Cliff 7.
It's 7,
Yeah.
mate.
Oh, I didn't hear that. 7.
Yeah, 'cause you don't listen to me because you hate me.
Yeah.
I
I
think
walked off.
I'm a bit
Yeah.
scared. I really don't remember you giving a score. I'm a bit embarrassed.
Yeah.
I don't even know who you are.
All gingers look the same,
Yeah.
innit?
To be fair, yeah.
We just look like balloons. Right, it's time for our final song of the evening. So I'm going to roll this here D20. 13, which is John. And it
What
is.
did it pick?
It's Foo Fighters. Sky is a neighbor.
Oh, good one.
Something a bit
Yeah,
different.
bit different. Cool. Wow. Listeners' feedback next.
Oh, right, yeah.
So, when did Cliff give his feedback? Because I have no recollection of Cliff's mark. Sorry.
Unbelievable.
He
After me.
definitely did. He gave it a 7.
Was it quite a short kind of? Here's
Yeah.
my mark, that's it.
I've said, yeah, it's 7. Yeah.
This is
I
a
think I've been stroking the
conversation
dog.
we're having with you, Craig. Bearing in mind you were there watching it like we all were.
That's what actually genuinely shocked me. It was like Cliff hasn't given his score. Yes, he has. That's it. Oh shit. Yeah, that was a bit of a. I might have been typing my new name in at the time.
What is your new name?
It's God who suck his wanting apprentice.
Wow.
Right.
Right, listeners' feedback. Okay. Excuse me. And that was the Foo Fighters rather, with Sky is a Neighborhood. John's choice there. Now you've heard what we think to the Warriors Gate or Warriors Gates. Now it's time to find out what you think in listeners' feedback. Suki, you kick us off if you don't mind, please.
We've got David Paul Morgan, and he's put a great farewell for Romana. I like the concept of the race that could navigate space-time, a bit like the Guild in June. It looks great. The mirrors employing overlapping and parallel worlds is stunning. Or was it a leftover Duran Duran pop video set? We're the main cast on speaking terms at this stage. I seem to recall Mr. Waterhouse has upset Tom, and with Tom and Lala on speaking terms. I'm glad the Doctor and Romana were able to liberate the slaves. 4 smash mirrors out of 5 from me.
That's good.
Cheers,
Wowza.
David.
So in effect, 8 out of 10, but maybe, yeah, strong, David, strong. John, yeah, you go next, please.
Wayne Bunny, and in quotes, he says, "I'm finally getting something done. Ha 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 ha." Captain Rovik is my hero.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Thanks
Dwayne.
very much, Dwayne. You can hear Dwayne on our Time Lord Victorious bonus podcast running at the moment because we're doing some audio stuff. And obviously, Dwayne and Phil do a podcast called The Sirens of Audio. It's a great one for all you audiophiles out there. Craig.
It's Mr. Mark Atkinson,
Hey up,
basically the founder of Suki's and sponsor of Suki's playlist. Another one I didn't rewatch before you review. Sorry, I know I'm slacking. That's 2 stories now, Mark. That's deeply shameful. But 2 reasons I didn't rewatch it. Number 1, I've only just rewatched it a few months ago as part of my season 18 Blu-ray watch. And number 2, I just couldn't bring myself to rewatch this load of incomprehensible shite. I mean, come on. Does anybody really understand what's happening in these episodes? Sure, it all looks okay and all that, but it's not exactly action adventure for the kids to enjoy, is it? Not one of my favorite stories. 5 out of 10.
Wow, wow, scathing back.
Yeah.
Well, fair enough. Cliff.
This is from the 51st Doctor, and he says, "I don't think I've ever watched this and understood what was actually happening. I like the colour on black and white moments." I did as well. "And it's certainly directed with flair, but it's all very pretentious. I like the Lion Man costumes, but not much else. 6 out of 10. Still good score though."
Fair enough. 51st Doctor, thank you very much. We've got Mark Clowes next at Vinyl_Librarian on Twitter. "Underrated story full of great ideas that don't quite work on screen. The novelisation is worth a read, or even better, listen to the extended audiobook version. Shame Romana's departure was so rushed at the end." Thank you very much, Mark. Back to you, Suki.
We've got Paul Faber at Wordsmith Paul on Twitter, and he's put, "This high strangers made me love Doctor Who. Escaped, enslaved, time-sensitive, drew his captors and the TARDIS to an interrupted banquet where 2 universes, past and present, collide. Will the Doctor, Romana, Adric and K9, or destiny determine who will remain where in the future?"
Thank
Cheers,
you
Paul.
very much, Paul. John. John, you're on mute, by the way, just to let you know there.
Yep.
John.
Prepare to edit the fuck out of this, Paul.
I am not doing any editing.
Aston Lord of Who says, "Must admit, when I watched this as a kid, I thought it was the most boring pile of shite ever. Fast forward 25 years later, and I was blown away at how unique and artistic it was.
Yeah.
The episode endings were great as well. Maybe this story suits an adult rather than a child."
Well,
Cheers.
there you go.
25 years' time, Johnny's going to say, "I fucking love this story."
Oh, that's when it matures, is it?
Yeah, at that point there. Craig.
Metabilis 2. When I first watched Warriors Gate about 12 years old, I thought there was going to be a spin-off series, Romana in East Space, with K9 and Birak as their companions. I grew up in the States and called up my local TV station to ask her when it was going to air. Oh, that's really sweet. That's a lovely story, actually. Thank you, Metabilis 2.
Cliff.
Bruce Wayne. We haven't heard from him for ages.
Yeah, hey, Bruce.
That's really good.
How's Robin?
Bruce.
Oh my God, Craig.
Oh,
Pray continue, Cliff.
Yeah, I will. So Bruce Wayne at NL Dark Knight. So some very good ideas behind the story, but never quite making it to screen in a decent, coherent manner. Perhaps the worst part for me was the comedic duo. Oh, I like them. I used that adjective advisedly. More wooden than a world of pine table with the same laugh value of a cremation.
That's really harsh.
I'm going on. Perhaps it was just me and my headspace. I was, after all, being put off as I kept expecting Packard to blow his whistle and call everybody out at any moment, or Lenny the Lion to ask where Terry Hall was as his rectum was feeling.
Oh my God.
This is brilliant. It seemed a disappointing end for Romana, who you feel deserved a grander exit. Though I suppose that leaves a door open for some modern showrunner to give the character a chance to return. I said that as well. an okay story. Not whose finest moment, but by no means its worst.
Wowzer.
By
Thank
no
you very
means it's
much.
worth
Yeah, thank you very much.
That's a
Bruce
brilliant
Wayne.
one. I like that.
Yeah, it's cool. Hey, I've got Ed Hobbs, my mate Ed. Hi, Ed. Warriors Gate, one of the first stories I remember watching, even as a 6-7-year-old. I remember thinking it was very odd, amazing and odd. All that walking about in white, the opening shot, which goes on and on. Very unlike Doctor Who. Great story too. Slow and weird. Love it. Do nothing. And finally, Suki.
We've got Dan Mask. He's at Twitter, LLO Corp. One of my all-time favourites. I first saw this when I was 11 years old and was riveted. This story is why I became a Doctor Who fan. Cheers,
wow.
Dan.
Awesome. Thank you very much indeed for all your feedback and keep it coming in. I do love reading it and reading it out on the podcast. Okay, it's time to vote for this week's Benny.
Hey.
It's Benny time. So we're going to vote for who we think has been the best host this month's episode. I am going to vote first. I'm going to vote for Suki because he has put up with some shit tonight and he's done it really well to the point of my mission was successful. He swore a lot, but you took it very well, sir. So Suki is my Benny this week. Craig,
I'm
who's
actually
your
voting.
Benny?
I'm voting for Suki as well because he's taught me that it's completely okay to make a note down of all the production notes and just read them out on the podcast.
Sounds like he knows what he's on about. It's great, isn't it?
I actually did. I took Suki's advice and I had the footnotes on this time, so I know that he's literally just done it. I was really impressed, Suki. Thank you very much.
That
Perfect.
was Bob, actually. Just Bob mentioned that last time.
Oh, did he? Oh, I don't listen to Bob.
It's like a brand new idea from Suki, isn't
You don't
it, Craig?
listen to me or Bob.
I just listen to Suki and John.
He's a big gingerist, is that, Craig? So that's 2 for you, Suki. Cliff, who are you going to vote for?
I'm going to vote for John because
Oh.
he stuck to his guns. He didn't enjoy it, and I could understand why he didn't enjoy it. And even after the hour-long or whatever chat we've been having, he still stuck to his gun, and he gives some really good, valid points. So John.
Definitely, yeah. No, fair enough. So 2 for Suki, 1 for John. John, who are you voting for?
Now, I'm aware of tactical voting and how this goes. And Suki, and Suki has been. He came out and he just basically read off the fucking production. I
I've done that for months and months and nobody's noticed.
Yeah, because I've never ever watched them until this episode. That's the first time I've done it.
And Craig being supporting him. No, I can't pick you now because of that. You've let me down. Bob, you've not done anything too offensive, which is weird.
It's not finished. It's not finished yet. It's not finished yet, John.
Sheps was just nice to me, but I'm thinking, was he doing that so he could get a vote with Benny on his side? So I reckon he'd be manipulative. I'm going to go for you, Bob, as the lesser.
Oh, that's nice.
Thanks, John. I love that. I'm the lesser of the evils. Amazing. So that's 2 for Suki, 1 for John, 1 for me. Suki, you have this vote. Well, vote. Go on. Vote for your Benny.
Right. So I've just got to vote for somebody who hasn't got a vote, so that makes me the best.
You vote
Tactical
for
voting's bad. That's what I was saying.
No, I don't care.
You vote for who you
I
think
want
will
to
be
be
the best
Benny.
host.
I'll be Benny. So I'm going to vote for John because he hasn't got. Has he had a vote?
Yeah.
He's had a vote.
Cliff. I'm going to vote for
Right,
Cliff.
so it's
No, you
me.
can't do it. He said it first.
No, I'm
That's
going to
it.
vote for Cliff.
No, you can't do it. He said it.
He said John. You did say John.
He
didn't
said
you?
said
John.
John.
First answer.
He's
That's
right.
it.
No,
Change
who
minds,
said?
you're allowed to change
Where's
your
this in the
minds.
bylaws? Could you tell
There's
somebody
no-
show me this? Where
There's
we've
nothing
got
in the
this written
bylaws
down.
that says you can't change your mind before it's finally done. So go
So
for it.
I've changed my mind then.
So you win, basically. You've changed your mind, so
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
win.
so I'm
rather
going
than-
to
Talk
vote
about-
for. I'll vote for
Gerrymandering.
I
Craig
just got the consolation vote. That's
or
great.
Cliff. One of you. I know one of you hasn't got-
Hang on. Sorry, did you say you were voting for me?
I don't know. Yeah. Why
can-
are you so? All
you
of a
can
sudden
vote for
eager to
Craig.
Well, if you
vote?
vote for me, I'll fully support your change of vote.
Okay, then I'll vote for Craig.
I mean, it doesn't matter. You still
I
win
vote
anyway,
for
Suki.
what
Okay,
he's
I
doing.
feel important.
I never got it.
Yeah, it's well, I'll tell you what, right, Suki, we'll just let you in because you have had a lot of shit in this podcast. Well done. You're
He
the
swore
betting.
a lot, didn't he?
Oh, he did, yeah.
I actually lost it there. You know, I
He
did
lost
lose
it.
it.
He lost
Yeah.
it. It was amazing. We broke him. We broke him.
It's when we all stood up.
Is that when I left? Though?
Yeah.
I mean, I never stole
It
that.
was a collective effort. It took us all of our powers to break Suki. I could not do it on my own. So thank you, everyone. Cool. Well, it's time to find out what we're watching for next month.
Oh, come on.
1 minute.
So I'll let you get your randomizer up, Cliff.
We're not doing the What's a Mars.
No, I think we're going to do that when it
falls.
It's in the
Yeah, but isn't
in the
it?
schedule.
It's not next then.
No, it's a few off yet.
Oh, right. I thought it was.
No, it's a few off yet. Have you just
told
told us
that one because
I'm ready.
Very positive about that.
You ready? Right,
Ready.
cool. Well, we've come to the end of our review of Warriors Gate, so thank you very much for joining us. It's time to find out what we're going to be reviewing for next time. And I'm going to come over to you, Cliff. I want you to start spinning your balls and randomly pick a story of Doctor Who that we're going to be reviewing next time, please.
Spun me balls, and it's 43. The Wheel in Space.
Wow. Oh, wow. That's awesome. Pat Troughton.
Cool.
Pat Troughton Sideman Adventure. Oh, that's cool. I never would have sort of watched that one.
Is that missing?
And it's
missing.
full in it. I thought we had. I thought it's
Winning Space. Sucky's got it on DVD there, has he?
It's got everything.
Is it on Lost in Time?
There's only 2 episodes.
Yeah.
3 and 6.
Bit of a missing then.
The others,
So it's a 6 episode with only 2 episodes that we've got.
Excellent. I love the randomizer, and I love that we're gonna have to go back and read, watch, listen to this
episode one. That's cool.
Yeah, 6 episode Sideman Adventure, Pat Troughton. Base Under Siege. Thank you very much. So until then, you will have our next Time Lord Victorious review dropping, which is Echoes of Extinction, 8th Doctor side. And so until then, that's what you've got to hear from us. But until then, thank you very much for joining us. You've been listening to Progtor Who. I'm Bob. Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody.
I'm a Benny.
Hey.
You certainly are,
Benny
Sucky.
Sucky.